You can't do that. Meg Trembles as Spotify CEO Daniel Ek refuses to air Archetypes 2 due to $500 million loss. The coronation of King Charles is rapidly approaching, and Meghan Markle has been hard at work on her next strategy to outdo it. Particularly, Kinsey Schofield claims Meghan is now doing private interviews all around Los Angeles for the second season of Archetypes. Nevertheless, the Duchess of Sussex's dumb strategy will not succeed when Spotify CEO Daniel Ek has stated his unwillingness to broadcast Archetypes 2 owing to a $500 million loss months after Meghan Markle's podcast. Spotify CEO has admitted to getting carried away with major investments in the past year, including spending on Meghan Markle and Joe Rogan's podcasts, after the streaming service logged $500 million in losses. According to the Daily Mail, Spotify invested heavily in podcasts and audiobooks in 2022, with an estimated $1 billion spent in building its podcast library that now boasts some 4 million titles. This led to the company laying off some 600 employees this month alone. However, the profitability of these investments has come under question, with the Daily Mail saying that they have hit gross margins after operating expenses grew at twice the speed of Spotify's revenue. Commenting on this, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek said, "In hindsight, I probably got a little carried away and over-invested relative to the uncertainty we saw shaping up in the market." The statement comes after Spotify reportedly spent some $18 million on a 3-year deal with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, under which the Duchess of Sussex's Archetypes podcast was released. However, Spotify's biggest expense came in 2020 when they spent an estimated $200 million on US podcast star Joe Rogan for a multi-year deal. Moreover, I just had a thought about instead of Meghan interviewing the guests and there being natural dialogue, the production often featured cut and pasted audio from the guests' interviews with producers to intersperse the guests' comments alongside the Duchess. We all know Meghan just loves the sound of her own voice and is full of her own self-importance, but now I'm realizing how stilted these sessions are and I'm wondering, did Meghan commence production of Stereotypes with the intention of it just being her monologue because she believes she is so intelligent and just so fascinating that she could carry the entire series? But then perhaps received feedback from Spotify that no, it's not all that and you're boring on your own, and if you don't add some high-profile guests to break up your monologues we won't publish. Or maybe she did do actual interviews and they were so bad they just used the producer's backgrounding or follow-up questions as the content. This could explain the length of time it took them to produce this rubbish and needing all of those producers. If she recorded a podcast pretty much just of herself then got told we are not airing this junk, they could have scrambled to have producers interview guests, and just weave in the recordings into her dullard monologue. Well, it's food for thought, and my first conspiracy theory, I think. Whether it was intended to be a monologue or they intended all along to have the producers do the heavy lifting to get the audio content from guests, leaving to concentrate on her intelligent monologue, we all know it's utter crap anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if Spotify got tired of waiting and someone in charge said something like, "Fine Meghan, just stay in Montecito since you're not willing to move a finger to work. We'll send other people to do the interviews, but can you at least read a script? You know, like you did in Suits. You'll just have to read whatever the interviewer says. Is that not too hard to do? It's been 2 years now, we need to move on." I believe they sent other interviewers since she refused to go. As if Zoom wasn't already a thing. Spotify, I'm quite confident, is done. They yanked their teeth to acquire something, and they're done. Meghan has been told that if she wants to create a season 2, they would not stand in her way, but she must put in the effort and pay for production. Honestly, that would track. Her being present for the Serena, Paris, Mariah episodes. Those 3 names are A-list, everyone around the world knows who they are. She'd want to be in the presence of those A-listers, at the very least. I thought perhaps it was for networking reasons. But she treated them all like garbage, and kept trying to subtly shade them/elevate herself. She's so pathological in everything she does. can't do that. Meg Trembles as Spotify CEO Daniel Ek refuses to air Archetypes 2 due to $500 million loss. The coronation of King Charles is rapidly approaching, and Meghan Markle has been hard at work on her next strategy to outdo it. Particularly, Kinsey Schofield claims Meghan is now doing private interviews all around Los Angeles for the second season of Archetypes. Nevertheless, the Duchess of Sussex's dumb strategy